There can be non-consensual sound, sight, smell, taste, and touch. There can be non-consensual, it could be assault, it could be emotional labor, it could be neutral, it could be delightful. I just got back from karaoke with my girls, which put me in a state of mind. So, for sound, the assault sound is that loud car. It's that car alarm. Oh my God, went for a run at the butt crack. No, I went for a run not at the butt crack of dawn, but at dark o'clock. It was dark o'clock. And some, with such insensitivity, let their car alarm go off going into the gym, parked in front of a whole bunch of apartments. And their car alarm was going off for a full 30 seconds. Plenty of time to wake everybody up. That was sound assault. That was so, so insensitive. Like, you should be so cautious when you're going to the gym at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, anywhere in there, like, not to let your car alarm go off. I feel like it was intentional. Non-consensual sound would be like bad loud music, like bad violin or bagpipe playing. I would call it auditory harassment, like the people who play their music and the neighbors who play it loud at night. Bad singing that it's not in a social situation and you shouldn't have to hear. Now, the next layer down is the kind of sound that requires your emotional labor. When someone sings at you poorly out of context and you don't know what to do, or when people give you fake accents out of context and you don't know what to do, it forces you to do emotional labor. I can't stand this. A lot of people can't stand the awkward, like, what are you doing? You're making sounds at me, and I don't know what my reaction is supposed to be, because it's not beautiful. So the next layer down is normal and neutral, talking, humming, and overhearing human beings being humans. No big deal. Up there with the emotional labor and maybe even the non-consensual is when people have those loud phone conversations in a place where it's like, whoa, you shouldn't be having that conversation here for us to, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? The next level isn't just neutral, but rather it's uplifting, it's delightful. Like when I practice my harp in public, it doesn't matter how terrible I play, everybody loves it. It's not like practicing violin where you have to be good. Or anyone who generally has talent. And then the peak, of course, of like the consensual side is when you go somewhere seeking that person's talent, like at concerts, any kind of concert. So that's the list of auditory. And then for like sight and visual, when someone's got their high beams, that is like visual assault because it's causing danger. It's like changing your whole environment because your neurons are receiving this visual stimuli, this light, and fluorescent lights can really throw people off and are like a form of assault for some people's sensory issues. Graphic signs, like I remember I was at the mall and going to some mall or something in LA, and there were these protesters with signs like with aborted fetuses on the signs, and that was like visual assault because there were children walking around, and I was like, that's inappropriate, you know. Or if there's a stranger doing touching self things, like that's like a visual, like, this isn't just like non-consensual, it's actually like harming me, you know. Now just sort of non-consensual is that like over the top PDA. I'm all about a little PDA, but like that part that's like really get a room, really, I'm not just joking. Like graffiti that's just too much, it's ugly, it feels like I didn't consent. That's not what the public wanted there. Because I've studied graffiti, a lot of it's very artistic. I'm very supportive of a lot of public art. Then there's visual stuff that you're presenting that's giving other people emotional labor. So I feel like the unexpected costume that's not that great, like, or sort of like, oh, you look sort of historical, but it's not that well done. As someone who worked at a Renaissance fair, obviously, as a teen, like my outfit was perfect. Like the bodice was authentic, actual, functional, high quality. Oh God, I can't believe I let that go. And the skirts were real skirts made out of real fabric from the fabric store that my sister made. And the chemise was like, I don't know, organic cotton or something. And so that's like, when I wore that, when I was coming home and I had to run into the store, people were delighted. It was uplifting. It didn't cause emotional labor. But when people wear like an unexpected costume that's like really cheap or crappy, or the clown costumes that scares people, that's giving people emotional labor. Or like, it's kind of like cool clothes, but it's stained, it's torn, and we're like, it's not actually cool enough to be like, oh, I love your outfit, it's so cool, because it's kind of pilly and faded and stuff. Emotional labor is when people have food in their teeth. It's like, how am I supposed to respond? What do I do? Or like dirt on their face. When you go to someone's house and it's like dirty to the point that you're a little bit concerned about the sanitary, like, is this unhealthy, or a really cluttered space that's just too much visual input for me, that causes me a lot of emotional labor. The next layer down on that, normal and neutral, is just you're wearing nice clothes or just regular clothes. I don't care if it's your sweats, but like, it's not challenging anybody, and you're basically clean, you're not making anybody do a double take. And then the level farthest down my chart of like is uplifting and delightful in the visual sense. The realistic good costumes that people, or like these outfits that are like curated, they're like authentically good clothes and they're quality and they look great. Those lift people up. Those are so fun. They make everything better because you're adding beauty. Artistic makeup that's like well done, it adds beauty. When it's like medium done, it's kind of like, where am I on this? Did you mean to do that? Am I supposed to pretend it looks good, better than it actually does? That I think causes emotional labor. So yeah, and wearing the good costumes, artistic makeup, quality clothes. And then the ultimate is when we pay to see the visual arts of any of these kinds of things. That's like the peak. And then I go into smell. So smells that I would consider like assault would be exhaust, which is actually toxic, the strong colognes, fabric softeners, strong cleaners, bleach, and when someone really, really, really reeks, to where it's just causing every area they're in to be an olfactory, just can't stand it, to where it might make you sick. I've spent time with enough people who get migraines or who have Tourette's and would get tics. These smells are so bad for them that they can ruin their day or 3 days if it gives them a migraine. I think that's olfactory assault. Then on the non-consensual, just like perfumes that may not cause you a neurological problem, but just laundry soaps, allergens might go over here with assault. Fish in the microwave, I don't know, you can decide where you put that one. And to me, plugins and Febrezes and any artificial smell, it's non-consensual. It disturbs me. And I don't, The next level would be emotional labor smells. Cheap perfume that just isn't that great. Your body odor that I'm like, I don't know if you know. Am I supposed to, if you're my friend, am I supposed to say something? Am I supposed to pretend you don't have it? I very much support that humans have smells. But when it gets to a point of cheap candles, cheap anything, and if I go to your house and it smells like cat pee, that puts a lot of emotional labor on me, because am I supposed to pretend it's not there? Am I supposed to, because I just want to leave. And it's a lot. Now, normal neutral smells, nobody minds a little bit of the essential oil in your lotion, or neutral cleaner smells, food smells, and every human does have a smell, and I don't think people should get hung up that if you get really close to another human, you might smell them. That's okay. We shouldn't force everyone to have no smell. That's just unnatural. Uplifting smells are flowers that we're not allergic to, light smells, baked goods. Everyone loves that. Really good food, fresh air. Now, so that's the smell list. And then I'm not going to go into touch and taste because this is getting long. There are spaces that we've created where you're allowed to have the awkward, a karaoke is a social safe space where we're allowed to sound terrible. Halloween is that place where you can wear a cheapy costume, you can look funny, you can look weird, and it's our safe space where everyone's allowed to get attention. And the gym is a place where we're allowed to smell bad. And I really started thinking about this when I went to Japan, and my dad and my brother and I were the loudest people, and we were drawing attention to ourselves, and the Japanese people didn't do that. And I was like, why? What is it with Americans drawing attention to ourselves, and where is the line? So this I think is how I figured it out. If you're drawing attention to yourself, but you're uplifting the situation because there's so much beauty in what the attention is going to, then that's good. But if you're drawing attention to yourself and you're causing people a little bit of confusion because it's not actually that much more beautiful, then that's sort of non-consensual. More on this later.